think we saw straight away with the economy table is that no one seemed to be directly involved with the economy who was sitting on the table. And no criticism to the individuals. And it's something to do with the demographic in the room, perhaps. So we spent a lot of time trying to understand what the local economy was all about. And sadly, the JSA document didn't really tell us anything. It's got some very good Wiltshire-wide information, but it told us nothing about the Marlborough area. And that's been my observation in the last 12 months or so, where I've been trying to understand how MADT can help out in the local economy, in that there is a hidden economy here, and there's almost a bit of an apathy or a malaise about how to make the whole economy in the area grow. So maybe this is part of the demographic challenge that we have. I think one of the key facts in the GSA is that we have this rather accentuated hourglass phenomenon, where as an area we're even more susceptible to people in the 20s and 35s to 40s moving out the area. So we have a hugely growing population of the 50 pluses through to retirement later years. We've got a reasonable number of very young people moving into the area, children, what have you. That's actually probably going to cause a problem with schools at some point. But we do have this middle ground where there aren't jobs, and a lot of the 20-somethings, 30-somethings have to necessarily move away. So we wondered what was wrong with the local economy, how could we make it more vibrant, how could we galvanise it more? And there are obviously no easy answers to that. So there was a lot of debate about what the economy actually seemed to be, and there's all the obvious things. There's a very large tourism-focused economy that revolves a lot around retail in the town itself here. There's a number of sort of visitor attractions out and about in the area. The other type of economy that's out there is obviously there's still a large base that is agricultural. But there's probably a very hidden economy of small businesses, people working at home, one-man bands of one sort or another. And what we felt was that there could be a way of trying to keep the money within the area by encouraging lots of small businesses to work more closely with each other. It's an observation I make that I know people who will go and get sort of marketing support from someone in Reading or Bristol or whatever, and there's probably a very good person just down the road that they don't know about them. So how can we try and bring the economy more together? And I think the last point around that is that the obvious candidate to try and drive the economy on a sort of quick basis is obviously tourism. How can we help small businesses start up that are tourism related? We have a wonderful set of resources called the Countryside, we've got all these various attractions around here. The observation is that Marlborough certainly can be a hub for those, but how can we encourage people to come here and spend money and therefore encourage small businesses to start up and get the economy growing? And that's basically, we identified problems but not too many solutions, because it's not an easy one. That's it.
That came up quite quickly was a concern about the validity of some of the data, particularly that about vulnerable families that was in the executive summary. There seemed to be a bit of a concern that actually the statistics that have been gathered by other groups have shown that there are significantly more vulnerable families in the area, and we had a similar conversation about the NEET young people, and apparently anecdotally there's been an increase in NEET young people recently, and the concern was raised that there may be some effect on those statistics, and that the funding that that brings to Marlborough as a result of it. In terms of the data, one of the things that we felt was that there is a sense of a huge discrepancy among young people between the most and the least well-off young people. And because Marlborough is quite unusual, it is exacerbated by the existence of Marlborough College. And there is this sort of perception of there being two very separate communities here, and it's something that needs to be worked quite hard at for the less well-off young people to not feel so disadvantaged. Another big issue we talked about was transport and housing for young people, and we've seen that 22% of the population is under 16, but then a lot of them have to move away because they can't afford to live here, they can't get a job. And we did talk about for young people leaving school, looking, and interestingly, similar things as came up with the economic group. But also looking at ways of finding apprenticeship opportunities and work experience and mentoring, and also that may lead to a need to attract more industry to the area that would provide jobs for our young people and give them a sense of wanting to remain in this community in a way that they're not able to do so. We found the MADT research really helpful in terms of informing the discussion. And there were a couple of big things in there that we wanted to see. One was about young people saying they wanted more health advice. We would like to see more places in the area where young people have got access to advice and information about drugs and alcohol and sexual health and mental health in a place where they feel safe to go to, and it's somewhere that's familiar to them. And that's really quite an important issue. And another one was the lack of outdoor facilities, and that's something that the young people had expressed in this survey. There aren't really very many outdoor facilities, places where young people can go in the evening, which tennis courts are a mugger, a multi-use games area, which is floodlit, that they can go and hang out in, and that's why you see groups of young people in Waitrose car park, because it's floodlit, it's a place to go at night. And so again, safe places to go and more outdoor facilities where there's things for them to do. Thanks.